But in England and in Canada, they use letters and numbers.
Pero en Inglaterra y Canadá ellos usan letras
Y números.
y números también.
And researchers like to look at zip codes to determine affluence, to determine socioeconomic status.
Y usan con eso buscar el estatus económico de las personas.
Depending on where they live.
Dependiendo de dónde viven.
And they also like to look at health status according to zip codes.
Y también quieren ver el estatus de salud dependiendo de los códigos postales.
So I want to talk about a virtual zip code.
Y quiero ahora hablar de un código postal virtual de salud.
85210.
85210.
And each number represents a health habit we should adopt.
Cada número representa lo que deberíamos adoptar.
A health habit.
Un
Hábito
de salud.
And the first number is 8.
El primer número es 8.
What do we need?
¿Qué es lo que necesitamos?
We need 8 hours of sleep.
Necesitamos 8 horas de dormir.
From 7 to 8.
De 7 a 8.
Now I'm talking about adults.
Estoy hablando de personas adultas.
I remember when my daughters were born, they would sleep 16 hours.
Cuando mi hija nació, ella dormía 16 horas.
You know, it's nature trying to help the mother get ready for her job. The child just sleeps on.
Ayudándole para ayudarle a ella.
And as we get older,
y como nos envejecemos,
we can run into 2 problems.
Podemos estar en 2 problemas.
Take out a coin.
Vamos a sacar una moneda.
With 2 sides.
De 2 lados.
Tails. Some like to sleep too little.
Algunos duermen poco.
And that's a problem.
Y ese es un problema.
There is something that happens while we're awake.
Pasa un problema cuando estamos despiertos.
There's something called beta amyloids. Beta amyloids. And these accumulate in our brain.
Y eso se llama
amyloides.
Amiloides. Y se concentra en el cerebro.
And it's only through sleep that it's erased.
Y solo a través de dormir se borra.
And beta amyloids are correlated with Alzheimer's.
Y esa enfermedad está relacionada con la enfermedad de Alzheimer.
You know, dementia.
La demencia.
And we have a psychiatric nurse here that could tell us a lot more about that.
Tenemos una enfermera psiquiátrica que nos puede decir más acerca
Let me
de
try
eso.
another one. Let's see if we can get heads.
Vamos a buscar otra moneda.
What did I get?
¿Qué es lo que
Tails. Tails. Heads. The other problem is sleeping too much.
Del otro lado, del dormir demasiado,
They have looked at the research and they say if you sleep 9 hours a day as an adult, by average, this is looking at the whole population.
y los investigadores han visto que de 8 a 9 horas de dormir,
Yeah, if you sleep more than 9 hours,
si
more than that,
duerme más de 9 horas,
your risk of death increases 19%.
el riesgo se incrementa en 90%.
19. No, 14%. 14%. If you sleep over 10 hours, 30%.
Si usted duerme más de 10 horas es 30% el aumento.
So maybe we need to reconsider our sleep time.
Tenemos que reconsiderar el tiempo de dormir.
Not too much and not too little.
No mucho ni tampoco menos.
7 to 8
De 7 a 8.
is the ideal for adults. Now we read in the scriptures. Can someone stand up and read that for me?
Alguien que pueda leer de allí, por favor.
Yes, sister.
Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 12 says, "The sleep of the laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep."
Sleep is sweet.
Dormir es dulce.
And it's very important to get enough sleep so we get those alpha waves running in our
Y es
mind.
muy importante tomar lo suficiente dormir.
Now, 8, I also want to emphasize water.
También el 8 enfatiza tomar agua.
We need to drink water,
Necesitamos tomar agua,
pure water.
agua pura.
I've noticed that when I feel dizzy, it's because I haven't drunk enough water.
Dice que él, cuando se siente como
Mareado.
mareado, él es porque no ha tomado suficiente
I
agua.
remember being in my dad's pharmacy and this lady came in and said, you know, I have kidney problems.
Estaba en la farmacia de mi padre y una señora vino y dijo que tenía problemas con sus riñones.
And I said, well, do you drink water?
Y le dijo, ¿tomas agua?
She said, no,
Y ella dijo, no,
I don't like the taste of it.
no me gusta el sabor del agua.
We need water because otherwise our kidneys are damaged. And it's terrible to go on dialysis. Let me tell you, that's horrible.
Necesitamos tomar agua para no poder
Evitar el
la diálisis.
Yes, water helps to dilute all the toxins, helps us to eliminate the toxins from our
El
body.
agua ayuda a eliminar las toxinas.
Not just those toxins that we take in by mouth, but those toxins that are produced by our body.
Y no solo las toxinas que tomamos, sino las que produce nuestro cuerpo.
If thine enemy be hungry, who can finish the text? Who would like to stand up?
Alguien que
Read the text for us, please. Yes, Brother
Bread
Clark.
to eat and if, stood in the chair, and if he be thirsty, give him water to drink.
Proverbio 25:21.
Even your enemies, you're supposed to give them water.
Dice, aún sus enemigos les está supuesto a dar
There is
agua.
no substitute for water.
No hay sustituto por el agua.
And the more we sweat, the more we need to drink water.
Lo más que sudamos, lo más que necesitamos tomar agua.
If you don't want a wrinkle, you need to drink a lot of water.
Si no quiere arrugas, necesita tomar más agua.
5.
5.
8-5. We need
Necesitamos
5 fruits and vegetables every day.
5 frutas y 5 porciones de vegetales también.
Yes, 5 fruits and vegetables. That's what I learned when I was in college. And they said, when I got out, 5 to 9 servings
Eso
per
es lo que
day.
aprendí cuando estaba en la universidad, de 5 a 9.
5. Y ahora dicen de 5 a 9.
Ahora dicen que 5 a 9.
And the latest research is 10.
Y las últimas investigaciones dicen que 10.
800 grams of fruits and vegetables every day.
810 gramos de vegetales y frutas cada día.
There's a renowned prevention medical doctor who's from Yale University. His last name is Katz.
Hay un doctor de la Universidad de Yale que de apellido es Scott
And he's been looking at the research on diet.
y ha hecho investigaciones en la dieta.
And he says the result is, the best diet is
Y dice que los resultados es, la mejor dieta es
to eat a lot of unprocessed vegetables, fruits, whole grains, beans, and lentils.
es de comer muchas frutas y vegetales no procesados.
Because they have something called phytochemicals that fight disease.
Porque tiene muchos químicos que
Fitoquímicos.
combaten las enfermedades.
And that's what God told us in the beginning.
Y eso es lo que Dios nos dijo al
Who
principio.
can help me read this text?
¿Quién nos puede ayudar a leer este versículo 1:29?
Yes, Brother Jeff.
Genesis 1:29, 3:18. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed.
Stop there. Herb-bearing seeds. These are grasses that give seeds. Those are cereals. Yes.
Son cereales.
Which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, and in the which is the fruit of the tree.
Those are fruits. We need to consume fruits. They're very healthy for us.
Tenemos que
Yes.
consumir las frutas que son saludables para nosotros.
Yielding seeds.
And seeds that also come from trees.
Y semillas que
I'll talk more about that in
también
a
vienen de los
moment.
árboles.
But we want to emphasize the fruits. Yes. And then, after sin,
To you it shall be the meat, be for meat. and thou shalt eat the herb of the field.
God added vegetables after sin.
Dios lo tentara después del pecado.
Fruits and vegetables have no cholesterol.
Las frutas y las vegetales no tienen colesterol.
Avocado does not have cholesterol.
El aguacate no tiene colesterol.
Fruits and vegetables have dietary fiber.
Las frutas y vegetales tienen fibra dietética
That helps clean us, our veins, our arteries are cleaned
que ayuda a
by
limpiar,
fibers in our fruits and vegetables.
que ayuda a limpiar nuestras venas, nuestras arterias.
So they're talking now about a flexitarian diet. They don't want to say vegetarian, so they say flexitarian.
Ahora vamos a hablar de la flexitariana.
Reduce the amount of meat and increase your fruits and vegetables.
Reducir el consumo de carne y aumentar el consumo de
But
fruta.
10 portions, you have to be a real vegetarian to have 10 portions
Pero
a
tiene
day.
que tomar 10 porciones, tiene que ser realmente.
5 times 2. 2.
Número 2.
Well, this is another area.
Esta es otra área.
It's not the pillar of diet.
No
el pilar de la dieta.
pilar de la dieta.
It's not the pillar of sleep.
No es el pilar de dormir.
It's the pillar of screen time.
Es el pilar de gritar.
No, screen time. De la pantalla.
De la pantalla. De la pantalla.
The amount of time we spend.
El tiempo que
The American Pediatric Association has said
la Asociación Médica Pediátrica dice
that we should not allow any child under 2 years of age to be in front of a screen. This is not the babysitter.
que no deberíamos dejar que los niños menores de 2 años estén enfrente de un teléfono, una tableta.
But many parents use this as the modern babysitter.
Pero muchos padres lo ocupan eso como una nana.
A nanny, yes. A babysitter. But it's not just for babies.
Pero no solamente es para niños,
It includes all of us.
también nos incluye a nosotros.
On the amount of time you spend on Instagram.
El tiempo que pasamos en Instagram.
You know, Facebook is going to the side. But let's mention it. Some of us are still using Facebook. Instagram, Facebook, texting, Twitter, all the time in front of our computer. We should not do more than 2 hours a day. That's the limit that the Health Society is saying in the United States. 2 hours max.
No debemos de pasar más de sus horas en las redes sociales.
Enfrente a la pantalla.
Enfrente de la pantalla.
Georgia has become one of the states in the United States that has declared itself hands-free. It's a hands-free state.
Georgia
Se ha declarado.
ha declarado una ley de que con las manos libres.
And that means you don't touch your phone while you're driving. Hands-free.
Que no toque el teléfono mientras está manejando.
You arrive at the airport, it says, "Welcome to the hands-free state."
Dice en el aeropuerto, bienvenido a manos libres, el estado de las
It's
manos
the law.
es la ley.
Because so many young people die while they're texting.
Porque muchos jóvenes mueren mientras están texteando.
Brother Watts has this program on his cell because I get the message. I cannot answer you now, I am driving. That's very good.
El hermano Watt tiene un método que dice, no puedo contestar porque estoy manejando.
It's a matter of life and death.
Es cuestión de vida o muerte.
More young people die today because of their phones than because of drinking or drugs.
Muchos jóvenes mueren
At least in the
ahorita
United States.
por usar el teléfono o por manejar tomado.
No, más mueren por el teléfono que por tomar. Yeah. But that too, well, we want to read it in the scriptures. The scriptures have a text. Who would like to read it? I want a young person to stand up and read that. Okay, we have a volunteer.
For death is come up into our windows.
Stop there for a moment. Have you ever heard the program Windows? Did you know that Jeremiah foretold that Windows would be used? Windows, yes. our rooms.
en nuestros cuartos.
Every child in the room, my wife Linda starts to worry when she hears all the kids quiet.
Todos los niños. Mi esposa dice que se empieza a preocupar cuando todo se pone silencio.
And she's put these programs, I don't know what they're called, but it's these programs that stop the kids from going and surfing online, on the phone, on the tablet.
Otro programa para parar eso, para parar.
Parental control.
What is it?
Parental control.
Parental control.
Guía de padres.
Keep reading.
To cut off the children from without and the young men from the streets.
When I was a young boy growing up in New Jersey, we were always outside playing. We were playing baseball, we were playing hockey, we were running, riding our bikes. Now you go through the streets of America, they are empty.
Cuando era joven íbamos afuera a jugar diferentes juegos.
Sí, pelota,
pelota,
baloncesto, sí, hockey. And I'm not advocating, to be a sports fanatic, but I am saying that the kids are doing their exercise with their thumbs and with their eyes in front of the screen time. And parents are too. Spend more time in front of their screen than with the Word of God. Listen, this is the true window. This is not. Okay, the Bible is the window to the future and to God. This is the window that can bring us disease, disability, and death if we abuse it.
Y la Biblia debería ser la Windows, el programa Windows, no la pantalla.
No abusar.
No abusar.
Not to spend so much time. Yeah. Now, 2, which is what we're talking about. I want you to take out your hands. Just put them out, as if you were collecting, okay? So somebody's going to pour money.
Porque si alguien les va a poner dinero.
You need 2 handfuls of nuts and seeds every day. 2 handfuls of nuts and seeds. Y nueces. And as vegetarians, we don't tend to eat enough nuts and seeds. I'll start here. There's no nuts and seeds in our menu, and they're necessary. Yeah, I was speaking to the dean of the College of Public Health at Loma Linda University.
Habló con el decano de la Universidad de Loma Linda en California.
Yeah. And he did a vast research study to prove that one of the reasons vegetarians can live longer and have a lower risk for disease is because they eat 2 handfuls of nuts and seeds. And I mean unsalted, okay?
Hizo investigaciones que los que comen más semillas y nueces viven más y tienen menos probabilidad de enfermedades.
In the future, I'd love to give a study on the best foods according to the sanctuary. And I kept thinking of that while Sister Helen was talking about the sanctuary. Yes, but we have one of them mentioned in the holy place regarding the menorah, and it says, well, no, this is regarding the Ark of the Covenant. The almonds appear twice in the sanctuary. But who can read that text? This is in the most holy place. Yes, Sister Talan.
And it came to pass that on the morrow Moses went into the tabernacle of witnesses, and behold, the rod of Aaron for the household of Levi was budded, and brought forth buds and blossoms, and yielded almonds.
Almonds are the best nut we can consume.
Almendras son las semillas que
Food of the sanctuary. It has a lot of calcium.
Tiene mucho calcio.
And we need calcium, not as much as meat eaters because we don't eat that much protein. But we do need calcium.
We need calcium, no como los que comen carne.
We continue our zip code.
Vamos a continuar con nuestro código postal.
Now, 2 meals a day is best for most of us.
2 comidas al día es lo mejor para cada uno de nosotros.
It took me 6 months
Me llevó 6 meses
to come to a point of eating just 2 meals a day.
para poder hacer 2 comidas al
And
día.
I've been eating 2 meals a day, with exceptions, for over 15, 20 years.
He hecho 2 comidas hace alrededor de 15 años.
If you are a teacher, if you're a pastor,
Si usted es profesor o pastor,
if you work in front of a computer,
si trabaja enfrente de una
you don't need
computadora,
3 meals a day.
no necesita 3 comidas al día.
Now, if you're a carpenter, you're a mechanic, you're an athlete, yes, 3 meals a day is not enough.
Sí necesita, incluso no es suficiente 3 comidas al día.
Yeah, like this Michael Phelps, I mean, he eats so many calories a day, but he is one swimming machine.
Like Michael Phelps, es una máquina de nadar.
Counsels on to the church. Who can read that for me?
Consejos de la iglesia.
Stand up. Okay, Sister Helen.
At least 5 or 6 hours should intervene between the meals. And most persons who give the plan a trial will find that 2 meals a day are. This should, however, if taken at all, be very light and a food most easily digested.
I challenge you.
Los retos.
The first person who advocated 2 meals a day was not Ellen G. White, it was James. It was Joseph Bates. Joseph Bates.
Elena White no fue la que dijo de que 2 comidas al día era mejor, sino fue Joseph Bates.
Yeah, he was a vegetarian before she was.
Él fue vegetariano antes que ella.
He accepted the Sabbath before she did.
Él aceptó el sábado antes que ella.
As we get older,
Como nos envejecemos,
our metabolism becomes more efficient.
nuestro metabolismo se convierte es más eficiente.
And so, if we eat the same,
Si comemos lo mismo,
we will gain weight.
vamos a aumentar de peso.
There's exceptions to that.
Hay unas excepciones a
If
eso.
you have used a lot of drugs, then your metabolism is altered, and you can eat a lot and you won't gain weight.
Si ha usado drogas, su metabolismo se está alterado.
But generally speaking,
Pero hablando en general,
which each decade of life, we need to eat a little less and a little healthier, a
tenemos que
little
comer
more
un poco menos y
wholesome.
más saludable.
2 meals a day. That means breakfast and lunch. That does not mean lunch and supper. When you wake up,
Cuando ustedes se despiertan,
that is the best time to have the biggest meal, the morning.
es el mejor momento para tener la mejor comida del día.
And then lunchtime, give it a few hours.
Y después de la
5 to 6 hours, and then you can have a good lunch also. And in the evening, very little.
Un buen almuerzo.
You've heard the Chinese proverb, in the morning eat like an emperor. At midday, eat like a soldier, and at night, eat like a pauper.
Como un proverbio chino dice, en la mañana coma como un emperador, almuerce como un soldado y cene como
Un mendigo.
un mendigo.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Don Quixote?
¿Sí han oído de
You know his best friend was Sancho Panza?
el Don Quijote, de tu amigo de Sancho Panza?
Don Quixote was very tall, Sancho Panza was short and had a really big belly.
Don Quijote era
Don
alto y-
Quixote speaks to Sancho Panza and tells him,
Don Quijote le hablaba a Sancho Panza.
come poco Sancho amigo y cena menos, porque el estómago es donde se fragua la salud y la vida. Don Quixote said to Sancho Panza, eat less and have less suppers, because the stomach is where you make health, where you fabricate health. And he was true. This was written in the 1600s.
Sancho Panza comía menos que
Debía comer menos,
debía
comía más.
Ajá.
Yeah, he had more. De Don Quixote. One,
Número 1.
exercise is a big pillar.
Ejercicio es un buen pilar.
We need 1 hour of exercise every
Tenemos,
day.
tenemos que tener una hora diaria de ejercicio.
The best exercise
El mejor ejercicio
is walking
es caminar
or gardening.
o hacer el jardín.
Walking is very healthy.
Caminar es muy saludable.
It allowed and to walk outside even more.
Y hacerlo afuera es
Near the beach, near a lake, up in the mountains.
cerca de una playa, en las montañas.
It exercises, it moves many muscles of our body.
El ejercicio mueve muchos músculos.
It promotes circulation.
Promueve la circulación.
Yes. It also allows us to breathe better. It reduces our pulse if we walk a lot.
Nos ayuda a respirar mejor.
Now my phone has one of these gadgets. Yours does probably too, that you can measure how much you're walking.
En su teléfono no puede tener como medir su...
I've only walked half a mile today.
Dice, él solo caminó media milla.
But yesterday I walked 3.3 miles.
Ayer caminó 3.2 millas.
And it hasn't been too good lately.
No ha sido muy bueno últimamente.
On the 8th I walked 2.5. Okay. So it's good to keep track. We do need to exercise. We live in a sedentary lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle world. Modern society.
Tenemos que tener eso,
Ejercicio. Yes. And we read in the scriptures
leemos en las Sagradas Escrituras
that bodily exercise profiteth little. There's a profit, but it's little. Don't think that exercise is more important than diet or than controlling your stress. It is not.
Para el cuerpo el ejercicio es muy...
No es tan importante como la dieta
no es tan importante como la dieta.
y el estrés, ¿no? Manejar tu estrés. But it does give a profit.
Pero sí lo es.
And many little profits add up to a lot.
Y muchos profetas pequeños lo agregaron.
We read in the testimonies.
Leemos en los
Who
testimonios.
could read that for me, please?
Alguien que pueda leer eso.
Brother Darren, please.
Walking in all cases where it is possible is the best remedy for diseased bodies, because in this exercise all the organs of the body are brought into use. There is no exercise that can take the place of walking. By it, the circulation of the blood is greatly improved.
Now, I'd like to see
Gustaría ver
how exercise, like walking,
cómo el ejercicio de
uses
caminar
all the organs of the body.
usa todos los órganos de nuestro cuerpo.
It's very important.
Es muy importante.
What you don't use, you lose.
Si no los usa, usted los pierde.
Swimming is a good exercise.
El nadar es
All these aerobic exercises. Biking.
Bicicleta.
Anaerobic exercise can also be good, like lifting weights, not too much,
Aeróbicos
but
también,
some
como levantar pesas, es muy bueno, no muy
will be beneficial.
será muy beneficioso.
0.
El 0.
8, 5, 2, 1, 0.
8, 5, 2, 1, 0.
So this is something we should not do.
Eso es lo que no debemos hacer.
And it needs to be
Y es
0 for carbonated.
cero de
Drinks. We
de-
say, well, we're health reformers. We don't drink Coca-Cola and we don't drink Pepsi. But we do drink Fanta and we drink Sprite.
Somos reformadores, no tomamos Coca-Cola ni Pepsi, pero tomamos Fanta y Sprite.
That have a lot of phosphate.
Eso tiene mucho fósforo.
That will steal the calcium from our body.
Eso va a falsificar el calcio en nuestro cuerpo.
Because phosphate and calcium
Porque el fósforo y el calcio
compete against each other. Competing.
compiten entre ellos.
And calcium acts like a buffer in our blood,
Y el calcio,
keeping the pH at the right level, not too acid, not too alkaline.
y el calcio usa para mantener
El pH. If you want to know if you have enough calcium, don't do a blood test of calcium. That's ridiculous. Because the calcium will always be there about the right proportion unless you have a serious disease. You have to look at the bone density to know the calcium reserves.
Dice que tiene que ver la densidad de su hueso, hacerse un estudio de hueso para ver la cantidad de calcio que necesita o qué nivel lo tiene.
But they contain also a lot of sugar.
Pero contiene muchísima azúcar.
And I'll tell you something worse than sugar. This fructose, the sweeteners of fructose.
Lo peor del azúcar es la fructuosa.
Artificial sweeteners.
Los sabores artificiales.
Artificial colors.
Colores artificiales.
And some young people, that's all they do is drink carbonated beverages, sodas.
Y muchos jóvenes es lo que
I'm
hacen.
getting my fluids.
Tomar mucha soda.
But I think adults too.
Pero también los adultos lo hacen.
And the excess of phosphate, the excess of sugar causes inflammation in the body.
El exceso de fósforo en el cuerpo promueve la inflamación en el cuerpo.
And inflammation is what leads to disease.
Y la inflamación
Yes,
conduce
I'll take a
a las enfermedades.
Brother, what do you think about mineral water? I mean,
Mineral water is good.
is it good?
Yes.
Does it have, isn't it?
All water has a certain amount of minerals, natural
Toda
water.
agua tiene unos ciertos minerales.
Sparkling carbonated water.
There is also natural sparkling carbonated water. Yes, that would be okay too. I personally don't like the taste. I mean, I prefer regular water, but I have seen it in nature. It just comes up. They drink a lot of it in Europe. It is not good to eat much honey. So even from Solomon's time, 3,000 years ago,
Miel, aún durante los tiempos de Salomón.
the scriptures told us to avoid too much sugar.
Las escrituras nos dicen que debemos evitar demasiada azúcar.
Meditate upon this paragraph.
Meditemos a ver
Brother Watson,
esta
can you read that for us? He
párrafo.
who cherishes.
He who cherishes the light which God has given him upon elder form as an important aid in the work of becoming sanctified to the truth and fitted for immortality.
We're talking about the present truth.
Estamos hablando de la verdad presente.
This is part of the present truth.
Es parte de la
It is the right hand of the third angel's message.
Es la mano derecha del tercer
And
ángel.
health reform goes beyond diet.
Y la reforma de salud va más allá de la
It has to do
dieta.
with our sleep,
Tenemos que dormir
with the water we drink.
también con lo que tomamos.
Yes, those 5 to 10 fruits and vegetables every day.
De 5 a 9, de los 5, 9 a 10.
Limiting our screen time to 2 hours and no more.
Nuestros tiempos de frente de las pantallas.
That means the computer, the phone, the tablet.
El teléfono.
I don't know what other gadgets. Yeah, television, that's another good one. Television. I don't have a TV in my home.
Yo no tengo una televisión en mi casa.
When I married Linda, we made a deal we were not going to have a TV at home.
Cuando me casé con ella,
no
íbamos a tener televisión en la casa.
And I don't lament it.
Y no lo lamento.
Now, sometimes we rent some videos to see.
A veces vemos unos
Documentaries.
videos documentales,
Not every day.
no
Not
todos
every
los
week.
días, no todas las
There are
semanas.
some nice programs out there.
Hay algunos programas
The
buenos ahí.
majority that is shown on TV is trash.
Lo que enseñan en la televisión
That's the
es
reality.
basura.
It is either spiritualistic, it is anti-religion,
Es de antirreligión,
it is pornographic,
es pornografía,
it is violent,
es de violencia.
and we're like the ancient Romans entertaining ourselves with violence.
Estamos como
in the
romanos,
digital arena.
tenemos con esas cosas.
It is a great medium to preach the gospel. Yes, I will not deny that.
Es un buen medio para esparcir el evangelio,
But we really don't need it in our homes.
pero no lo necesitamos en nuestra
I was a little kid and I grew up seeing TV.
Cuando yo me
As
fui
Baptist.
pequeño y pues veía
When we
televisión.
came to the Reform, little by little, we gave up
Cuando
TV.
entré en la reforma, poco a poco lo fui dejando.
And 1 hour of exercise every day.
Una
We
hora
need
de
to walk.
ejercicio, necesitamos
My
caminar.
mother-in-law loves to walk. We need to
suegra
walk.
necesita
I
caminar.
spoke to an exercise specialist. He said, you need to walk at the speed that you can still maintain a conversation.
Dice que necesita caminar a una velocidad que pueda mantener una conversación.
If you go, you're overdoing it.
Si estás muy cansado, lo estás
You keep a
sobrehaciendo.
conversation. And the best time to walk is after your meal.
Y la mejor
After breakfast, after lunch,
para caminar es
15
después de
minutes.
cada comida.
If you have diabetes, that'll help regulate
Si tienes diabetes, la va a regular la
the
azúcar
sugar in your blood. It'll decrease your need for insulin.
y va a
Menguar
menguar
la
la
necesidad para
insulina.
insulina. And 0, we need to avoid consuming carbonated drinks. I mean, there may be a situation where you need them,
Necesitamos disminuir los
but generally
carbohidratos.
speaking, we need to stay away from it. Thank you. Yes, I'll take questions.
Preguntas.
And comments if you want to make a comment.
Y comentarios también.
The one thing that I have found, Sister White says that breaking the laws of health is as grievous a sin as breaking the Ten Commandments.
Dice que
So if
quebrar
we
los
don't
dientes
follow
como
the
quebrar
laws of
está los 10
You
mandamientos.
know, we have to answer to God for that because our temples are the body of the Holy Spirit. And if we do something that is unhealthy to that, we are just as sinful as we break the Ten Commandments.
Thank you very much for that comment. Brother Raúl Macías.
¿Qué tan bueno es mezclar las comidas de salado con dulce? ¿O qué tan malo?
Yeah, the question is how good is it or how bad is it to mix sweet with salt? Yeah, this is a common question I get in Latin America.
Eso es una pregunta común que lo agarro de Latinoamérica.
Yes. Bread has sweet and it has salt.
El pan tiene azúcar y tiene sal.
And bread is one of the best foods we can consume, especially if it's that strong German bread. Not like this Wonder Bread, you can squeeze it. That's not good. You want the hard
Pan es
German
uno de los
bread.
mejores que podemos comer.
Yeah, que sea duro,
Porque sea puro,
integral.
integral.
Yeah. But I think the principle is we should not mix fruits with vegetables.
Pero el principio es que no debemos de mezclar las frutas
Con los
con los vegetales.
And there's an exception to that.
Pero hay una excepción a eso.
For example, an avocado you can eat with fruits or vegetables because it's pretty much fat.
Pero como el aguacate usted lo puede leer con fruta o con vegetales.
Lemon juice that you put on your salad, that's from a fruit, but you can use because it's mostly an acid.
El limón lo puede usar en las ensaladas.
But this idea of having pineapple with our beans and raisins, that does not mix. Or a salad with raisins, we really should. But it depends also on our constitution. Some people can abuse themselves more and they won't suffer. So you need to know what your constitution is like. In the testimonies, I don't read anywhere where it says you can't mix salt with sugar.
En los testimonios nunca he encontrado algo que diga que no puede mezclarse los dulces con los salados.
But I do read you're not supposed to mix fruits with vegetables.
Pero sí he leído que no se debe mezclar las frutas con los vegetales.
Yes, they're different. And there are differences. You can define what each is very clearly from the area of science. If you take sugar and you add a little salt, you'll make it more sweet.
Si usted tiene azúcar y le agrega un poquito de sal, lo va a hacer un poquito más.
Thank you for your question.
Gracias.
Another question or comment? Yes.
What about like pineapple with rice?
Pineapple with rice is okay because rice is not a vegetable and it's not a fruit, it's a cereal. Imagine myself here, okay? On this hand I have all the fruits. I mean real fruits, okay? Not those that are oily or principally acid. Like lemons and avocados, because they would be neutral. And then on my other hand I have all the vegetables, like spinach, and lettuce, and broccoli. Okay. But in the middle you have all the neutral foods. Those include cereals. Nuts and seeds, those are neutral. And you can mix them with either one. Thank you for your question. Yes, Sister Atay.
I have heard that almonds were misclassified as a nut. It's a seed of a flower, so it's considered a drupe. I used to do my own research, but I don't know what a drupe is.
Okay. Thank you. So the question is that an almond is not a nut or a seed, but it's a...
No, it's a seed of a flower.
It's a seed of a flower. A drupe. Okay. You have to make a difference between botany and nutrition.
Tiene que ver la diferencia entre la nutrición y la
botany is botánica.
La botánica.
La botánica. Yes. For example, the tomato.
Por ejemplo, el tomate.
Is botanically a fruit because it has seeds inside.
Fruta.
It's a fruit. It's an ovary with seeds. But in nutrition, we classify it as a vegetable.
Pero como en nutrición se clasifica como vegetal.
A pumpkin is botanically a fruit.
Es botánicamente fruta.
Because it has seeds inside. It's an ovary with seeds.
Semillas adentro.
But in nutrition, we classify it as a vegetable because of its fibers, because of its protein.
Como vegetal.
Almonds have a high concentration of fat. They have a good concentration of protein.
grasa.
And they have a good concentration also of fiber. They are, nutritionally speaking, in dietetics, a nut and a seed. Yes, they are seeds. We talk about walnuts. All the nuts are seeds in themselves, all of them, if you're going to look at them botanically. But in terms of nutrition, we consider them, yes, nuts.
So if you're allergic to all nuts, then you can't eat almonds.
Coming in?
If you're allergic to all nuts, you cannot eat almonds.
Not necessarily, you have to see.
I'm asking for my niece, that's
Okay, this is an interesting question, and that's regarding allergies.
Esto es una pregunta interesante acerca de las alergias.
And one of the most allergic nuts is peanuts.
Una de las semillas más alérgicas son las.
And the reason is because pediatricians were recommending that children not be introduced to peanuts until after the age of 3 or 2 to avoid choking. And that's a big mistake. They've done studies in Israel showing that children who were introduced to peanut butter and nuts at an earlier age
Unos investigadores israelíes vieron que si proveerles las cacahuetes a temprana edad,
they were not allergic. They had a lower incidence of allergy. But that's due to errors in introducing foods during infancy and childhood. Yes, that's why we have a great prevalence of allergies. You have to see. Some are allergic to many types of nuts and some specifically to peanuts. If they've done other studies that children who grow up in farms smelling the manure of cows have a very low incidence of all types of allergies. So maybe she needs to be improve. I mean, you laugh, but that's true. They've actually shown that. Thank you for your comments, for your questions. You can ask me later as we step outside. We're going to kneel and pray, and I'm going to ask our dear brother David Moreno to lead us in prayer.